A lot of times we can have these habits and we don't know where they stem from. Our belief system have a correlation to our habits. So let's talk about the 5 money beliefs that you probably inherited from your parents, from your guardian, from whoever who had something to do with your raising, your upbringing, your teachings. Yeah, we're going to get into that because a lot of these habits, honestly, is really not your fault. It's about the belief system, and the belief system go back to the root. And a lot of times it traces back to childhood. Let's go ahead and get into it. I was 17 years young. I never forget my mom very vividly because this is when I started receiving like credit cards, offers, and things like that. You know, when you're about to be an 18-year-old, start sending you things in the mail. Even if you don't have credit, they just start sending you things in the mail because you're of age, right? Mom made it very clear, you better not sign up for them credit cards. You do not know what you're doing with no credit card. Credit cards is not good for you. And that's all she said. We didn't even go into discussion of how should I manage a credit card? Why should I not be having a credit card? What's the perks? What's the pros? What's the cons? And so forth. We didn't talk about none of the things. It just simply was, you don't need a credit card, stay away from it, plain and simple. And over the years, talking to different friends, I realized I wasn't the only person that had the same kind of mama that said this. Don't go out and get no loan, leave that money alone. The issue with this type of belief is, yes, you have to manage your money. Yes, you need to have you some nest eggs. Yes, you need to be saving and so forth. But once you get to the point where you're managing your money, is a way that you can leverage credit cards to work for you and not against you. That's a whole nother conversation. But the point is that this belief, it does not teach leverage. It does not make you think in a leverage mindset. So it's very limiting. So when you're young, you're going to do what you want to do regardless, right? But if they would have gave you the play in the playbook, it would have been just easier to navigate it. Not saying that you wouldn't have did it, but at least you would have known a little bit more of what's the pros, what's the cons, what you're getting yourself into so you can know how to navigate it easily. I like to believe they had good faith and it was coming from good intentions, that they just didn't want us to get into debt. But it requires explaining things. And if you can't explain the why, it just makes the curiosity just sharpen even more. Because I know for sure, I went out and got my first credit card and just thought this was free money. I ain't have to pay it back until I realized, wait, these interest and this balances continue to accrue up. And then I had to work extra hard, do overtime hours to pay that money off. But had I known going in, I would have been able to navigate it better, right? And I'm sure you may be feeling the same thing. We always say, if I can go back to 18, 19, 20, I would do things totally different. It's teaching safety. And honestly, when it comes to money, when it comes to getting to the next level, safety is scarcity. You have to take risk. And I'm not saying just lose your mind and go berserk, but you have to take calculated risk. That's what just comes with leveraging your money. So number 2 in the money beliefs that's keeping you broke that you may have inherited from your parents is that rich people are greedy. They had to do something for that money. And you know, when they said rich people greedy, they had to do something for that money, they're talking about something unethical. And let me tell you, the issue with this type of mind frame, this type of thinking, is that it makes you think that being rich, having money, having income, a substantial amount of income, it makes you think that it's a flaw, it's something wrong with it. Have you ever known or seen those people where they have something that they're selling? It could be a candle, it could be something like a small product, right? And they are asking for little to none. They damn near giving it away for free. And it's like, wait, if you put craftsmanship into this, I know this takes time. You have to ship this out. I know this takes money. But they're undervaluing their work because they feel like, oh, I can't charge too much because I don't want to seem like I'm being greedy. I don't want to be knocking people across the head. So let me tell you something. You have to charge your worth. You have to get what you're worth. Plain and simple. There's no feelings attached to it. You have a great product, you have a great business, you deserve to get great pay and great income from that great business. So that's the issue when they tell us that, oh, rich people are greedy, they did something unethical, or oh, who knows how they got that money. You know how the only people that get that type of money is the people that had to do XYZ and had to do some things that's ungodly. That is not a belief that you want to have, because I'm telling you that it's not always the case. Now, am I saying every rich person is a saint? No, I'm not. But guess what? There are good and there are bad. When it comes to wealth, when it comes to riches, it is very neutral. Okay, now you decide who you want to be if you acquire wealth. Number 3 in the money beliefs that's keeping you broke that you inherited from your parents. We have all heard this one. Just work hard and you'll be a-okay. If I can tell you amount of times that they tell you just to work hard and you'll be a-okay, it requires more. I had to learn through trial and error It requires so much more than working hard. Guess what? You have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan. And also, of course, work ethic takes you very far. But if you are working, you could be working and going nowhere like a hamster wheel. You want to have a strategy. What are you aiming towards? What's the focus? What's the target? What's the deadline? And so forth. What's the goal, right? So we have to have a strategy. It just can't be just work hard. That is not correct, because people get into these jobs, they start business, and they feel like, oh, if I just work, it's going to be enough. I'm going to yield a great reward. It's very possible that you're just going to be working and burning yourself out. You have to have a strategy along with your work ethic. Then you start making some headway. You start making some moves. So number 4 in the money beliefs that's keeping you broke that you've inherited from your parents. We all have heard this one, especially in the workplace. Don't talk about your money, it's rude. Don't tell people what you're making. Don't let them know how much you got on your paycheck. You don't want nobody counting your wallet. You don't want nobody counting your pockets. Let me tell you, the only people that do not talk about money, do not discuss money, don't talk about opportunities, is people who are not trying to grow. In return, people who are not making money, people who have very low income. They don't feel comfortable talking about money because they are not secure in their finances. They're not secure in their money. People that are making money, making moves, going to the next level, taking advantage of opportunity, they're leveraging their income, their intellect, and their skills, they talk about money. Now, they may not give you down to the dollar cent, but trust and believe, every time you get into a conversation with them, somewhere along the conversation, they'll let you know what they're working on. They'll let you know exactly what went well for them on the last call that they had, and so forth, with the last client that they had, and so forth. They do not mind talking about money, because this is the thing. If we're in the same industry, if we're not talking about pay, if we're not talking about promotions and different things of that sort, how do you know if you're getting lowballed or not? How do you know if you're making what you're supposed to make or not? How do you know if you're not making under what everybody else is getting? How do you know you're getting a proper raise if no one's having a discussion? What, you gonna look into other markets and see what they're making? But it doesn't pertain to you. You have to look directly correlated with the people that are already in your market. What are y'all making? What y'all promotions are? What's the budget? You need to know what's the budget so you know exactly where you should be at. You know? So people that have money, they don't mind talking about money. People who are trying to get to the money, get to the bag, they don't mind discussing it whatsoever. They'll tell you, oh, okay, this real estate is estimated as this over here. Oh, yeah, I was looking at this and this estimate to be over there. They'll tell you. They may not be broadcasting it, but trust and believe. They are talking amongst their circle. They are talking about it amongst their trusted few. They're talking about money. When you have mindsets and you have beliefs that don't talk about your money, don't let people know what you're making, where's the progressive conversation? Where's the progressive conversation about salary, about debts, about estates, about just assets? Where is the progressive conversation? If you have any money issues, you have any stress, you're going to be dealing with that in isolation. Versus if you talk to a trusted person or a trusted few, you'll be surprised how easy your problems could be solved. You'll be surprised who they know. Oh, you just need a tire? Okay, cool. I'm gonna hit up my boy such and such. Oh, you just need help with your rent? Okay, cool. Let me call this person that can help you with your rent. Oh, you just need yada, yada, yada. The list goes on. You'll be surprised how solvable your issues are when you start speaking on money. You start speaking on what you're working on with a trusted few. Now, I'm not saying go broadcast it amongst many that you don't know and strangers and bring on haters and bring on people that don't mean you know well. But people, for the most part, they let you in on their lives. They're pretty open. They have some type of leverage. They have things that could benefit you. Yeah, you can have a conversation with them. It could be a progressive conversation. And to bring it on home, I'm sure you've heard somebody say, oh, we not the people that make those kind of investments. We don't do stock. Or even the conversations that people that have money, they already have money. They had somebody to give them a leg up. They had somebody to give them a silver spoon. Or they were born with a silver spoon. That is not entirely true. It is 2026. There is nothing that you cannot find information on. There is nothing that you can't sit down and learn with some consistency, some discipline, and some focus. And you could be damn near a master at that skill. You have first generation millionaires every single day. It may even take $1 million for your lifestyle. It may take a couple 100,000. But there are people that are making it happen every single day. They're not taking the things that they did not learn growing up, that they were green on 10 years ago, and using it as a crutch or excuse for today. You have to get yourself in position where you are picking up a book, you are watching the videos, you're listening to the audiobooks, you are submerging yourself in whatever that skill is that you want to learn. And leverage your intellect, leverage your income, and you leverage that skill. Don't allow these money beliefs that you may have inherited from your parents to keep you stagnant, to keep you at a certain level. Rise above it and leverage your intellect, leverage your income, and leverage your skills.